I have a very simple litmus test that I try to apply. And I think that that litmus test of reality is something that we can find very, very useful. I always ask people this question. If you want to know if something is moral, because God makes sense, right? In other words, He created creation. He makes sense of things. Ask yourself this question. Is it moral? Is it immoral? And use this litmus test. If everybody did it, what would be the outcome? So let's look at it. If everybody engaged in immoral sexual behavior, what would be the outcome? In other words, if everybody committed adultery, well, there'd be half the population because jealous husbands would kill them. If everybody committed fornication, what we would look at is tons of children born out of wedlock. We would look at economic collapse. We would look at social problems because of the lack of the family structure of a father and a mother. So we see that, and we are seeing that. We will take the idea of homosexuality. If everybody did it, what would happen? Within one generation, there would be no humanity left. Okay, well, let's look at something else. We say, well, we have no problem sponsoring alcohol and drugs. What if everybody did it? Okay, well, what about abortion? Well, what if everybody did it? Now, let's flip that around and say, what if nobody got abortions? Would it be detrimental to humanity? No, humanity would flourish. Let me ask you this. What if everybody didn't engage in sexual immorality, which is sex within the context of one original man and one original woman in marriage? Would that be detrimental? No. If everybody did it, humanity would flourish. What if everybody didn't murder? Wow. What if everybody didn't steal? But if everybody did, so what if we just use these logical, normal, philosophical, consistent worldviews that come from the Word of God? It's kind of what we're talking about, to decipher the information that we get. And quit falling for the propaganda to the point that we're allowing people to silence us. Pastors and churches and Christians are afraid to say this out loud. We find ourselves in hushed tones in restaurants going, you know what? It's getting bad. And when you do that, you're on the doorstep of state government control and communism or whatever that looks like. Do you feel that pressure? You used to call it being politically correct, but I think we're so used to it now we don't even acknowledge it.
Right.
Am I way over the pale? I've gone there, right?
No, do I feel the pressure? Not so much, because of the context that we're in. In this organization, we've decided we're going to stand for truth. We're going to stand for the Word of God, regardless. And so I don't feel pressure to be silent.
But you're a hater, and you're being called a hater, and you're saying you're not empathetic, and you don't care about these people, and
Well, then come have it, because most of them haven't sat down and had a conversation with me.
And they would say, well, you haven't sat down and had a conversation with them, and you don't understand their perspective.
Well, they don't know who I have and haven't sat down and had conversations with.
So or your intention for them.
Yeah, they don't understand that.
Yeah, but I was watching something very recent. It was a little TikTok video, and a person was trying to say love is telling someone to consider not doing something that is detrimental. Well, that is considered hate. I watched as people excoriated this person for gently saying, please consider that it may not be hate, it may be compassion that is compelling you to forsake a lifestyle that may be detrimental not only to you, but to your legacy. When did the voice become so singular that the very definition of love has been skewed?
And we found this to be more and more evident even in the psychological circles. I know your wife is a counselor, and you do counseling yourself. Both of you do counseling. And when we withhold the truth, and when we begin to validate the behavior that people are coming in as a result of, when we begin to validate that and say, well, it's okay, just press on. we're lying to them. And we're called to be, in those moments, truth tellers. We're called to be peacemakers in those situations. When we align ourselves with something that is not true, we are doing an absolute disservice, and we are completely not loving other people.
Absolutely.
So even as a counselor, somebody comes in, and your job in our culture is to affirm them and teach them how to deal with the guilt and the shame that are associated with the behavior, not to help them forsake that behavior.